I enjoyed Barrett's character.
Totally agree.
A lot.
He's amazing.
Marlene! 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 Biggs! Wedge! Jesse! God damn it! God damn you! God damn you all! Marlene! Marlene!
If you've ever been around like that ex-military kind of rough individual, that's definitely the vibe they give off.
Yep.
Right? And so like Barret definitely gave off that vibe. You can feel the military in his voice, I guess is the like his command presence when he's speaking. So I enjoyed that.
Hey guys, you know, these fans are really loud and...
You chickening out?
Hell no! I'm just worried that your pony ass is gonna get blown off the side and shit.
You know, Cloud was okay. And I don't know if that's because the voice actor was trying to portray like this kind of, I don't really care. I'm just here for the money. I'm bored.
I thought Cloud was one of the best.
You know?
Barret and Cloud.
And maybe it's because I only made it a portion of the way through. Maybe he gets better later.
Oh, he's so good.
Because if you played the original 7, there's a similar path where like he starts off as like this disengaged kind of whatever. And then all of a sudden there's a turning point where you feel him become invested.
Yeah.
Right? And like his character kind of changes.
Like Jill's should have.
Right. Like, so maybe he gets better. But I felt like he was a little flat and monotone in the delivery.
Oh, that's so good for him though. That's exactly what Cloud would be like,
well,
isn't it?
I mean, maybe, right?
Don't know. Don't care.
And then the rest of them, I don't know, like nothing noteworthy. I don't think they were bad, but there was nothing great about them either. But again, like if I had to pick my favorite out of them, it'd be Barret.
Barrett's so good. That actor did a phenomenal job.
Put me on TV, I'm gonna drop some truth.
And no one that I can think of was terrible. But like I said, Cloud, again, as far as I got in the game, he's okay. He's not bad, but he's not great. But
yeah.
What's so special about it?
If you're saying that he's great, it's probably because you got to the end and like his character grew and evolved, and I haven't gotten that far.
I just thought he was really authentic, which is why I liked him a lot. But I
mean, if authentic is like your 13-year-old bratty boy who just...
Isn't that Cloud's character?
Trying to play the cool and different kid, sure.
That's exactly what his character is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, but he's a mercenary and a former soldier. Like, I expect more out of him. I don't know.
If the price is right.
You're not the only person who has said that, by the way. I've read online on Reddit other people who had the same opinion of Cloud's voice acting. I just didn't share that opinion. I mean, I thought that, yes, he did deliver on those tones, but that was exactly what he was supposed to, right?
I expect him to be Barret by the end of this series. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And we should see an arc for sure. We should see a change in him.
Right.
But a lot of that'll be the writing of the character and how they actually,
absolutely.
Script him.
Yeah.
Right? But so my thoughts on Remake, when I first played through it, I was actually impressed by a lot of the voice acting just based on how much better it was getting with each Final Fantasy, right? And I hadn't played 14 at this point, I don't think. But with Remake, because Japanese was the first language that was recorded, it wasn't optimized for English acting.
Tifaの連れってだけじゃ信用できねえ。仲間になりてえなら。
何度も言わせるな。俺は雇われただけだ。
As I understand it, dubbing language after the fact is actually... It's much faster, it's less scrutinized in the process, and so the acting just doesn't get the attention that it needs line by line, scene by scene, even more specifically.
Prove to me you're the man Tifa says you are. That you're one of us.
Never said I was. I'm just here for the paycheck.
Because whenever you're recording line by line, it's never going to come across as authentic and real as recording entire chunks or entire scenes, especially if you have the other actor in front of you. So with all of that in mind, I thought Final Fantasy VII Remake did some pretty great stuff with what they had to work with, but nothing has yet been on the same level as 16. And I don't think it will be on the same level as 16 with Rebirth either, where they clearly made the extra effort and it most definitely paid off, right?
I agree with you 100%. And it's not just that, because, I speak 2 languages. There's no such thing as like a straight word for word translation. That doesn't work either.
Right. And there's cultural differences in the way people speak.
Right. So it's not just a matter of translating the words, it's translating the intent. And sometimes, like you said, if it's a cultural idiom or like there's just a cultural understanding of something that doesn't exist, or just there's a different way of saying it.
Yeah.
ティファの連れってだけじゃ信用できる。仲間になりてえなら。
何度も言わせるな。俺は雇われただけだ。
Often what you'll find is we are much more verbose in English than other languages typically are.
Right.
And so like ours is going to take up more time in seconds or milliseconds than most other languages will to convey the same message.
Absolutely true. And then another example of that is the grunting. Like if you watch anime, there's so much grunting, right? Just like, just like all this grunting.
Yeah, it's like they're on the toilet the whole...
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that.
It's like, you need to get out of the studio and go to the bathroom, dude. Like this is unacceptable, right?
In fact, there's so much grunting that I actually took it and made the Chocobo theme out of it. I'll have to show you that. So it's like,
that's so bad.
It's like, But when it comes to the characters in Remake, even with the same restrictions on all the voice actors across the board, which they all had, right? They had to record the script that was Japanese first and translated and with these restrictions. I don't think all of the performances were equal. Like in 16, everybody was good. Like there was very little range in terms of awesomeness of their performances. In 7 Remake, totally not the case for me. And specifically, and I even hate saying this, but 7 Remake was interesting because I felt like, I really hate saying this, but it's true. I felt like they did so much better casting the male characters than they did the female characters, which is a bummer because I wanted the female characters to rock or even be equal to the male character casting. The male performances, for the most part, were just stronger for whatever reason than the female performances. And I honestly am convinced this is a casting issue. Maybe also a little bit of a directing issue. I don't know if maybe the US-based studio just wasn't very good at casting girls, or maybe there was a language or a cultural casting disconnect. Maybe because Japanese was cast and recorded first. Like you could even have a situation where people who don't speak English are weighing in on who should be cast for certain actors just based on the way they sound. And maybe they don't actually know, because they don't speak the English language, whether or not they're authentically good or not. They just like the way they sound. So, and maybe they get the final call. I don't really know what it was, but I felt like maybe the English casting team was told the way that the tone of the voice of the character of the girls was supposed to be a certain way, and that was the most important, so they had to default to. I don't really know. Like I feel like they said, okay, Aerith needs to be bubbly like this, right? And Tifa needs to sound like this. And I hate to rip on the actors because they're doing the best that they can and the best that they know how.
Right.
But I would have cast the female characters differently in Remake. And again, that's not the actor's fault per se. If there's a problem with a character as a whole on screen, in voice acting, whatever, 50% of good acting is good casting, right? So an actor can only do what they can do when you hire them, and it's up to you to make sure that they can do it before you hire them. So I don't like blaming the actors because they're working as hard as they can. But on the other hand, I thought that Cloud was fantastic. Barret was outstanding. Biggs, who's voiced by Gideon Emery, who is in like every video game, and he also plays Balthier in Final Fantasy XII. He was solid and awesome as always.
Yeah, Biggs was good. He was funny.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody stood out to me as like bad.
Okay.
In this.
That's good. And most people who aren't critics like I am of voice acting didn't have a problem with it. But those of us who, that's our job, it was a harder one.
But Barret was just above.
He
was a
so
cut
good.
above everybody else.